Shalom Aleichem Rabotai, this is Rabbi Kovacs. We are continuing the Mishnah Yomi for Thursday, the 4th of Iyar, and the 19th day of the Omer. Today we finish up, Bezrat Hashem, the first parak of Sheviit. So we're picking up on the 7th Mishnah, the first parak, continuing the topic of the Halacha L'Moshe Sinai, about 10 saplings, and plowing the entire field for the benefit of the 10 saplings up until Rosh Hashanah, Erev Sheviit. Mishnah Zayin and Netiot v'aduluyim mitztarfin l'tarich beit seah. The saplings and the gourds can join one to another, meaning you don't necessarily need all 10 plants in this field to be saplings. Some of them could be gourds. The Rishalmi says you need a majority of saplings, so you would need 6 saplings and up to 4 gourds to fill out the 10. It seems the gourds we're talking about here grew very large and needed a lot of resources, and so plowing around their roots was also a big help for them. Erev Sheviit, they really needed it to grow. This could be the famous Dalat Yavanit, the Greek gourd. There's an Egyptian gourd also. This could be the Greek gourd, which spreads and gets all over the place and caused us a lot of problems in Kilayim, because it would wrap around other species and grow quite a bit. So this dalat, this gourd, sort of a vine that gets all over the place, can also join up with the trees. Rabbi Shimon and Gamliel Omer, Kol asar deluyim v'seah. Shimon Gamliel adds, even if you have 10 of these big gourds, dalat yavonit, not just 10 saplings, chorshin kol beit seah ad Rosh Hashanah. You can go ahead and apply the same halacha as if you have 10 saplings for 10 of these gourds, these large gourds. Mishnah Ches. Until when do we call saplings saplings? When is it still a bocher? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Omer ad sheyacholu. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says until it becomes chulin. Now we call by trees the first 3 years are orlah, and the produce the first 3 years is aser behana, and the 4th year is netza revai. And netza revai is quite similar to Meiser Sheni, in that the owner has to take it to Yerushalayim and consume it in Yerushalayim. And after that, nothing doing with trees. Trees are considered grown up and good to go. It's interesting, in Chutz La'aretz, we do have halacha of orlah, but sveikos of orlah are lekula. So if one were, and I've asked poskim, if one were to go to a nursery where they're growing trees, and the guys who sell the trees say, yeah, this one's 4 years old, you can trust them that it's already 4 years old, because these guys know what they're doing. They deal with trees, so that you don't have to like put a 4-year-old pre-existing tree in the ground and then start counting. As long as you take the ground, the dirt, the goosh around the roots with it, then it's considered still planted anyway. So the first opinion, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, is until it's yacholu, until it's no longer orla or revai. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, but Sheva Shonim, Rabbi Yeshua, says 7 years. Rabbi Kiva Omer Netia Kishma. Rabbi Kiva says a sapling is a sapling. So that's the way you want. I said they call it a sapling. It's a sapling. Elin should nigbam b'chotzi chalifin. So what about a tree? So what Rabbi Kiva is really saying is when people call it a sapling, the first year, maybe 2, but typically the first year only people call it a sapling, and that's what a sapling is. So the Mishnah is continuing. Elon shenigmam, a tree that was cut down. But here it's not cut down to kill the tree, it's cut down to make the tree regrow. We've seen in other Mishnayos this was typically done by shikma, sycamores. Apparently, after you cut them down to the trunk, they would grow better. So sycamores were used for building materials, so this was part of the growing process. They let it grow, then cut it, and let it grow again into new beams. So Nigmam, the Chodzi Olifin, and new branches are coming out of the original trunk. So it depends, is this a Netia or an Elon? Is this an old tree or is this new growth? So in Tefach Lamatak Netia, if this is less than a Tefach from the ground, it's like a Netia. It's like new growth entirely, like a new tree. Tefach Lamola Ke Elon. If they left more than a Tefach, a hand's breadth from the ground, it is like an old tree. Divrei Rabbi Shimon. This is according to Rabbi Shimon, how to measure your cut down trees. It's interesting that we have by boys, some are noheg to wait 3 years for their haircut and do it upshurin, do it tzisporet, do the first haircut after 3 years, and that has some similarities al pi asod two trees, being Asr, being Orlah the first 3 years, and then being Kodesh, being in the 4th year. Once the 4th year starts, dedicated, the fruit is dedicated, like Meiser Sheni, to Yerushalayim. So that's a similarity. We also see from here that if you are a dalat, you're a gourd, you're someone who spreads out and tries to get into new areas of Torah, new areas of knowledge, new things, you're still like a sapling. You're still young as long as you're moving and growing and trying to learn new wisdom. We also see in the last Mishnah that sometimes you have to really take things back to basics and, cut off areas of life that aren't doing well so you can grow in a new way. And you're a little bit, you could be like an Elon because you have your experience and your wisdom, and you could also be like a sapling because you've had to start over in certain areas of life and you've had to have that new energy of new growth. Shkoyach Rabosai.